Hello, my spooky friends. This is John, your host of Dairyland Frights, the podcast, the paranormal podcast that's cover everything spooky, creepy, and mysterious in the Midwest and beyond, as I like to say, Cindy. Hey, today we have on the show again. I always tell people I'm so blessed, which I am. I am truly blessed. I have Cindy on the show from the Anything and Everything podcast. Welcome, Cindy.
Thank you so much, John. I appreciate you asking me to come on. I was very appreciative that you asked me to come on. So I was very excited about this, especially our topic of discussion.
Yes, which we will get to a second. Yes, and Cindy, by the way, please go check out Studio Sinister podcast or Studio Podcast. Farah and Courtney, they do some shows, but they also do a game show night, which Cindy and I have been on. If you want to go check it out, it's absolutely hilarious. We have a great time. You can see it in our faces, in our laughter. Please go check out Studio Sinister Studio Podcast. And, again, with Farah, she does an amazing job. Shout out to Farah. I know, just like everybody, like Cindy and I, we have jobs and we have lives and family and things happen. So, we're just people who love what we do and, put things out there for you. So please support Cindy, support Farah, and all your independent podcasters out there. So let's get to I'm going to ask you some questions. I'm putting you on the hot seat, Cindy. Are you ready?
Yes. Bring it on.
Tell me a little bit about yourself and your podcast. Like why did you want to decide to I'll try a podcast?
So a little bit about myself. Well, I've, like everybody, we've, had our struggles in life and stuff like that. Yeah. And I am the type of person where people do gravitate towards me and love having conversations with me. I like to talk about anything and everything. It doesn't matter what the subject is. I was in debate in high school and I was in community theater and drama class in high school. So I'm a talker. But I came to a point in my life where it was like, you know what? I want to share. I want to share all these thoughts and feelings that I have and topics and talk about topics that I just love and that I know other people love. And if it's a topic that might help someone to change their mind about maybe getting out of a bad abusive relationship or hopefully not, going in a different direction of committing suicide. If I can help someone in any kind of way, if it's just one person, then that will just make my day. I am a very much of a positive, supportive person, and I like to be there for others. I've always been like that. It's just how I was raised. I was always a caretaker. That's just how I am. But I decided to start this podcast because, like I said, I have so much that I want to share and talk about. And there's just so many stories out there. I love history, very old history. And I want to talk about that type of stuff, and there's just so much out there to discuss. And if someone likes it, great. And if someone doesn't, that's okay. Everybody has their own interest. So that's kind of why I wanted to start it, is mainly I wanted, if my episode will help someone or change their mind on something or give them a better outlook or make them feel, you know what, if she can do it, I can do it. And I'm a big believer in supporting many, not just women, but men, helping people out there, encouraging, because I feel our world is so negative. We have a lot of negative things on TV, news. And if my podcast will bring something positive into someone's life, then hey, I'm just ear to ear smiling.
That is awesome, because again, I've had podcasts where I've had people on, Cindy, and we've talked about, like, May was mental health month, right? And I had some people on, and we just got on the topics of like, hey, I've gone through some stuff. It's okay to admit it. Don't be afraid, right? Don't be
Yes.
afraid to be like, hey, I've thought about, unfortunately, suicide. I've been depressed, and I've said this many times. But, one thing I've done, Cindy, is I had a good support network, right? And I think, having that is key, as well as also you might listen to Cindy's podcast and go, oh, maybe my life isn't so bad. Maybe there's something here, that I can work with and get my life better. And that, right, like you said, that's so awesome. I've had people reach out to me after one of the podcasts I did, and they said, hey, that was really cool. I didn't know that, you had trouble, marital issues, and you've had other things, but you've worked it out and able to, put things behind you and now have a strong marriage, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
It doesn't always work
absolutely.
for everybody, but at least try, right?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
well, there's that morbid side of myself, though. Because I do like my creepy, my horror, my paranormal, I do have that morbid side of myself too. So, and I like to scare, I like to share those type of stories too.
Yes, absolutely. So please, again, check Cindy's podcast out and go out there. She's on Instagram too, which I will put everything in the episode notes, so you can go and make sure you check Cindy out and see what you think. And Cindy, is it okay that people reach out to you, or
absolutely?
Are you... Okay, great.
Yeah, absolutely. Great. They can reach out to me through Instagram Messenger. And John, actually, I can give you my anything and everything email. Well, actually, you have it. And if you want to add that in there as well, people can reach out to me via email as well. Absolutely.
Excellent. You read my mind. You must be a psychic too to that, Cindy, because I was going to say, can I put that in the episode notes too?
Absolutely.
Yes, because I think that's one of the biggest things too, is like you said, just we're all together in this, believe it or not. And if anybody, like you said, you can help one person, so much the better, right?
Yes,
so
absolutely.
Let's get to your spooky side, because that's why you're here. One of the things I wanted to know, have you ever had a paranormal experience? And please share that experience.
I've had a few. Yes. Actually, it started, my very first one was when I was young in elementary school, and I was living in Poway, California. And I'll never forget this house because, when you're a kid, the house seems gigantic, right? Yes. But anyway, the room that I had, it was actually the den of the house. And so it had the double door. Well, my great grandfather, Grandpa Lake, had passed away. And this is my first time experiencing death as a child. So I went to his funeral, saw him in the casket, and it actually scared me at first. And I ran away from the casket. And then eventually I went back towards his body and looked at him, and, inside my own little head, I was just like, why is he not moving? I couldn't totally understand. One thing about my great grandfather, he was always good to us kids, always. And he was all about family, and he played the ukulele. So anytime we would have family events or barbecues or get-togethers, whatever, he would always have his ukulele in hand, and he would always play for us. And I loved it. Absolutely loved it. So when he would come over to our house in Poway, he would sit on this like brick type area where the fireplace was, because it's like to put wood, or you could sit on it. And he would sit in a particular spot, and he would play his ukulele, and we would sing and just have an amazing time. So there was one night I woke up because I could hear ukulele, and I'm like, wait, Grandpa's here? And I was like, oh, Grandpa's here. And so I got up, went out to the living room, and there he was, clear as freaking day, sitting in the same spot, playing his ukulele. I sat on the couch, and I just listened to him play, and I'll never forget it. I mean, he seems like he was really there. And I ended up falling asleep on the couch, and my mom went to go wake me up for school, and I wasn't in my room. And she's like looking for me. She saw me on the couch. She's like, what are you doing out here? Why are you out on the couch? And I said, Grandpa came over and he played his ukulele. I was so adamant. And she's like, honey, you're just dreaming. I'm like, no, Grandpa was here. Like, I just was like, I'm like, Mom, he was sitting right here like he always does, and he was playing his ukulele. And she's like, okay, honey, you know, let's get ready for school and kind of just whatever. So that was my first experience. And then I've had, you know, others more as an adult and everything. I think the one that really, it scared me, but didn't scare me. So I was living up in Washington State, and I was living in a city called Edmonds, and I had a townhome upstairs and downstairs. And it was a pretty good sized place for just myself. And my bedroom, the master bedroom, also had double doors. And I also had a patio off my bedroom. I had one night woke up and looked over by my closet, which was a walk-in closet, but it was between the corner of the sliding glass door and the closet door. I saw a shadow figure, very tall shadow figure, just standing there. And I was like, at first I was like, am I just seeing things? Is my eyes just kind of playing tricks on me? Because, you know, for some odd reason, I woke up and I happened to look over there. I would see that shadow figure every single night. Every night. And one night, you know, because I'm a side sleeper. I like to sleep on my side, and I had my covers, you know, over part of my shoulder. And when you have a blanket on you and someone sits down next to you and it pushes down on the blanket and kind of pushes your body down a little because of the blanket pressure. So what happened was, all of a sudden I felt someone crawl literally over me from one side to the back side of me, and it like pushed down on the covers and like kind of smushed me. And then I'm like, what the heck was that? I reached my arm out of the blanket and I went over to touch this other side of the bed, and nothing's
Cindy.
there. Nothing is there. And I just lay there going, okay, stay calm. Don't freak out. It's going to be okay. You know, just go back to sleep. And I went back to sleep, because if you show fear, that's what they want.
Yes.
So I just stayed. My heart was racing, but because I thought, oh my God, did someone break in?
Yeah.
You know, and no one was there next to me, but I could totally feel that someone crawled over me. So yeah.
that is I've heard that many times from my guests, from feeling someone sat on the edge of the bed to someone touching their hair, to someone crawling, to someone like in the corner and not moving, you know. It's just did you go back to sleep, or did you get up and just you did?
I did.
Good.
Yeah.
Good for
because
you.
they want you to feel fear. They feed off your fear. So I didn't want to show my fear. And I've been into the paranormal. And like I said, I feel that, to be honest with you, my grandma, my mom's mom, my grandma Ray, she was everything to me. Everything. She was like a second mom to me. I carry her around my neck, the little moon necklace. I don't know if you ever saw it on the after show when we were on Ferris' show.
I did.
But her ashes are in my moon, and I always wear it. I never take her off. So I've always felt my grandma had abilities, and because she would call me completely out of the blue, Sin, what's wrong? I'm like, nothing, Grandma. Why are you asking me what's wrong? She goes, no, something's wrong. You're not telling me. And she would, I'm like, how do you know I'm upset? Because I would play it off. Like, no, I don't want to bother Grandma with my issues. And she's like, no, I know something's wrong. Tell me. And I'm like, and I can't lie to my grandma, you know? So I would be like, you know what, Grandma? This is what's going on. I'm feeling very depressed. And she goes, I knew it. I could feel it. And I'm like, what the heck? So I think, because there's things I feel, I think that I have suppressed a lot of my abilities for a long time, because it was always, oh, it's just a dream. Oh, it's just this. Oh, it's just that. And I was too afraid to talk about it. Now, I don't give a fuck. I'm going to talk about it because I do sense things. I do feel things. You know, there's a lot that and some people are comfortable with it and some people are not. So I assess the room, I assess the person and go from there. But now I am working on that a little bit more. Obviously, I want to handle it correctly because I don't want to go in a bad direction. But, you know, and I do study witchcraft. I am a kind of a semi-new witch, I guess you can say. There's a lot to learn. It's not just, oh, I'm going to do a spell. No, there's a lot more to it. But I've always been the black sheep of the family too. I've always felt so different than everyone else.
Right.
So.
Yeah, and that's funny you mentioned that, because I just had a medium on, and she was talking about in high school, kind of similar to you. She was always the odd person. She was always a black sheep, but she's a higher echelon medium where she hears voices. So she would go into, and she's very sensitive. So how would you like this? This is crazy to me when she said this. She would go into high school, and it was like all at once, people talking to her. Like, you know what I mean? Like, she could sense emotions. She could sense, like, you know, someone saying, oh, I'm not pretty enough, or, oh, you know, I'm never going to do this, or, oh, you know what I mean? It's a bunch of teenagers with all this angst and emotion, and she could feel it. And she was telling me, I didn't want to tell anyone, John. You know, I'm like feeling all this stuff. And then she started to see stuff in her home, and started to see things when she was like walking home and stuff. And she said, I didn't tell anybody, and I kind of suppressed it. And then one day I was just like, fuck it. Okay. And then she was like, basically how people back in our day would come out of the closet. Now it's a reveal, or whatever you want to call it. She just told her parents, I'm sensitive. I want to be a medium. I want to help people. I'm going to go to like do some training. I'm going to do all these things. And she did it. And she says she's glad she did it, because she has helped people, which she feels really good. And, you know, she always tells people too, like you said, I'm not here to tell you that you're going to make $1 million inventing something. I'm not here to tell you that your uncle who died in a car crash is okay. I'm not here to, I mean, I might tell you things that, she says, I get really scared telling people, like, your uncle's not okay. You know what I mean? So she has to, you have to be sensitive to it, right? You have to be like, well, and so she has to talk a certain way, because some people are like, what? You know, because she senses stuff when maybe the uncle didn't say they did this, or the aunt didn't say they did this. Maybe they did some bad things. Nobody told somebody, right? They kept it secret. And so again, I think that's really interesting. I'm glad you're doing that, because I think more people need to come out to demystify this whole thing about, it's okay to be a skeptic. And I'm sure you're like me too. You're a skeptic. You know, you don't buy everything, right? It's not like,
no,
right?
Right.
That's true.
No, when someone's telling me stories or their experience, I do really pay attention. And there's, you know, because even my situations, my experiences that I've had, I've tried to debunk. You know, is it this or is it that? Right. Am I really seeing that? You know, am I really focusing? And, you know, because there have been times I'm like, oh, maybe I just am, you know, just waking up and thought I saw something, but, you know, it really wasn't something. But no, the shadow figure I did see was definitely, because I saw it every night. It was always in the same spot every single night, until that one night, I guess it decided it wanted to roll over me and lay down next to me.
Yikes.
But yeah, I mean, because some people, you know, and that's, you know, John, actually, it's interesting you bring this up, because on Instagram and even TikTok and Facebook, you know, people will post, you know, this paranormal stuff. And what really makes me sad is a lot of the videos that, you know, I've been coming across are fake. It's rigged. It's acted out. It's whatever, or they try to make it as real as they can. And that it breaks my heart, because you know what? It is real. People do have really true experiences. Yeah. And so it just really breaks my heart that people think it's funny to make fake stuff and call it real.
Yes. And I totally agree with you there, because it takes away from the people who are having real issues and people who are dealing with it. And like, again, talking to certain people, Cindy, there are people out there right now as we're talking, Cindy, are living in a nightmare, because there's some type of entity or force or whatever you want to call it that are making their lives miserable. Yeah. And you know what I mean? And for people to make money off of that, for people to kind of make fun of that. And I've had, again, the medium that I had on just recently, she was like, I tried to help. We tried to help, and it's not like you walk in, she wanted to make this clear. Like, they go through a battery of tasks. Like, we want to make sure this person, if they have mental issues or challenges, we want to help them. We want to give them the right therapy, the right care, and put them in touch with those people, because sometimes it is. Sometimes it's just a mental issue or something that person has, where they see demons, spirits, whatever. But that still doesn't mean you make fun of them. They have a problem and they need help. And, but there are, and it's not a big percentage, but it's still out there, that people literally go home and they are scared that something's going to hurt their kids or hurt them or whoever who comes in that house. Many stories have been told like that. And I just go, yeah, why do you then make a video of somebody like, oh my God, look at the demon, they're chasing me. And you're like, can you just put a disclaimer and saying, hey, I was bored on a Saturday afternoon, so I decided to make a film about a demon chasing. Right? All right. Hey, we can like that. God, I love that. Cool. Hey, good for you. Good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's I totally agree with you on that. It's disheartening, like you said, and it's sad. Yeah, because
and another thing is too, John, is if you stop and think about it, because there's also other videos on there where people are messing around with Ouija boards. There's people that are doing seances. A perfect example, because it's been all over Instagram, and so many podcasters have been posting, the Conjuring House and this and that. Well, this is my thing. I think the Conjuring House, in my opinion, again, this is just my opinion, it's burnt out. I think there's just been so much, and they've had too many people. I've seen live videos going on Instagram of a whole mess of people sitting around trying to communicate with spirits, entities, whatever. And their lights are on and, asking questions. And do you really think you're going to really get great responses? Or like people who are doing the seances or using a Ouija board? When you mess with that kind of stuff and you don't know what you're doing, you're not going to get probably something very good. So all you're doing is bringing in whatever more or whatever is a demon, or an entity that's so pissed off because you're interrupting their day.
Yeah, right.
You get what I'm saying? Like, I'm so tired of hearing about the Conjuring House, and that's just my opinion. It's just burnt out.
Yeah, that's funny you mentioned that, Cindy, because I had some paranormal investigators recently on. They went to the Sally House. Are you familiar with the Sally House?
Yes.
Okay. And they got some interesting things, which I'll put out when their episode comes out next week. Preview, shout out to them. Where they caught an EVP that's kind of really interesting. But that Sally House, I think, will eventually burn out, like you said. Also, they went to the Villisca axe murder house in Iowa, which is about 5 hours away from me. Nothing. They got nothing. And funny you mentioned that, Cindy, because the lead paranormal investigator, she said, John, I think it's burned out or they're tired or they're just, because it's just been people after investigators just in that house trying to get that axe murderer to reveal themselves. Because this is over 100 years, this cold case of cold cases has never been solved. No one's even close to solving these. And an entire family, including the babies, were killed by an axe murderer. And nobody, and I mean nobody, has ever come close to solving it, right?
Yeah,
so you think there would be this tremendous energy and this tremendous angst and desire to be like, someone help me. I mean, we're sitting here in this house, no. She said she got the feeling of, they were like, you know what? We moved on. You should move on. That's the way she got the feeling. And she was like, okay. you know, she
Mm-hmm.
said, that's probably what the Conjuring house is like. We've moved on, or whatever's moved on, so you move on.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, I don't know, but that's a good theory. I love it.
Well, and the thing of it is, like when we want to speak when we want to speak, right? If
Correct.
we don't want to speak or don't want to be bothered, what do? We go into a different room, or we separate ourselves from people and not want to talk. Well, spirits can do the same thing. They will
Absolutely.
connect with people that they want to connect with. If they want to communicate, they'll communicate. And if people don't get anything, it's because they just don't want to communicate. And that's okay. But also, too, when you have a house full of people sitting in this living room area or whatever they were in, how do you expect to get... Come on. Usually when you do a paranormal investigation, it's a small group because you want to be able to tune in and you got to be careful opening yourself up, because you can open yourself up to something that's not good.
Yes.
And attachments happen.
Yeah.
But, it's better in a smaller group and controlled. It's just when you have too many people, it's too much.
Exactly.
I am John. I'm sorry to those that love the Conjuring House. Love the actual story itself. And what they experience. I think they did experience it, but the Conjuring House is so burnt out. And like you said, the Sally House, I've watched many stories on that one as well. And, it eventually will be the type like a burnt out. Too many people are going there and talking about it. People have got to change up their stories and where they go. There's so many other places that have never been explored and that are haunted.
So many. I'm not even scratched the surface, Cindy, on the episodes that I could do on people. And, and some of the bigger ones I've done, and I tried to on this podcast do some of the smaller ones, try to do some houses and stuff that people, okay, maybe I'll check it out. Because everybody wants the big ones. They want the Conjuring house. They want the Sally house. They want the Winchester Mansion. They want, Amityville, blah, 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 blah. All down the line, right? And you're like, hey, guys, I bet if you looked in your neighborhood, there's a haunted house. I would put money on it. I put money on it. That somewhere in your driving distance, there's a house that someone goes, yeah, I wouldn't go in that house if I were you. That's awesome. So that's great. By the way, I want to shout out to my California people. They are number one. Cindy's from California here. They're number one listening to the show. So, hey, I got one of your own on right now, on the episode. So I wanted to do that really quick.
No worries.
Hey, Cindy, today I'm going to do a little teaser here. Today's episode, let's get right into it, shall we?
Okay. Yes, let's do it.
We're talking about terrifying urban legends.
Oh
that
my
turn out
goodness.
to be could be true, could be false. I'm going to play a little game with Cindy, and she's going to guess true or false. And Cindy, like you said, you had some stories you can bring up here in between you want to, but I'm going to start you out with a real simple one, okay? This is a real simple one. You'll probably guess this one, but what the heck? Let's try it. So,
all right.
The first urban legend, you've probably heard this, that you've opened up your toilet, and in your toilet are maybe a rat, a snake, or a baby alligator, right?
Yeah.
Something like that. You've heard of that. Well,
yes.
We're going to stick with rats, okay? Which, I don't know about you about rats. Maybe you like rats.
No, can't stand them. They're disgusting.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Have you ever heard of that urban legend where you've opened up a toilet and there's a rat in the toilet? Have you heard of that?
So I've heard stories, yes, that people have opened their toilet and have seen rats. If I recall correctly, because I know that I definitely have heard about it, but I know it's not anything good about finding a rat in your toilet. It's actually something not good and evil. But I can't recall the whole meaning of the urban legend, and if you see a rat in your toilet.
Okay. So
It's been a while.
would you say that's true or false? Do you believe it's true or false that this is actually a true story, that someone actually happened to them?
I'm going to say true.
Bing, 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 bing. You are correct. And let me tell you two stories that this actually happened. One is absolutely hilarious. And, well, I guess it's not absolutely hilarious for the person it happened to, but it's still kind of funny, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So, in Petersburg, Virginia, in 1999, so this ain't far, it's, too long ago, one aquatic rodent bit the rump of a female victim. So she didn't look in her toilet. She sat down and chomp. Yes, a big rat bit her in the butt. Obviously, she freaked out, got up, called an exterminator. But yes, that happened. Now, this is even more funny. So in Seattle, Washington, so you lived in Edmond, Washington.
Yes.
The issue was so common that this was so common. Now, check this out. This is unbelievable to me. So public bathrooms and private bathrooms, so your bathroom at home, Cindy, it was so common that Seattle had public officials make commercials, and I couldn't find the commercial, I'll have to look, and also put out statements to people that what to do in case you encounter a rat in your toilet. That's how common it was. Now think about that for a second, Cindy. It's crazy. Doesn't you think that's crazy?
Yes, that's scary, crazy, and it's a good thing I always do, John. It's so funny you're bringing this one up because every time I go to the bathroom, even though it's wee hours in the morning, I will lift up the lid and I will not sit down until I check the toilet.
Check it. Now you're probably asking, has that happened with little baby alligators and snakes? Yes, it has, but rats are the most common. Like, it's just not common in Seattle and Virginia. It is common. What happens is, and this is so weird, so the sewers in certain places are not attended properly, so they let the rats just multiply. And then what the little rats do, they go, oh, I need some more, shit and whatever the hell you're throwing down your toilet, and they sneak up through your pipes. By the way, your pipes if you are in, this ain't scary, but it's kind of scary. If you're in, like me, a town, your pipes go to a master sewer place, blah, blah, blah. Those pipes are connected, so anything can come up there if it gets in the sewer. So those horror movies, the whole, yeah, sort of true. Now, here's the funny thing, Cindy, before I move on. Here's what they told you to do. Close the lid and flush. That was their whole thing. Yeah.
So they think by you closing the lid and flushing, it's going to get rid of the rat.
Yes. That's what they told you to do.
That's hilarious.
Oh, and it's hilarious. And, like I said, I'm not going to do this one, but yes, people have seen alligators in the sewers in New York and stuff. They don't grow to terrifying size. There's some truth to that, but it's not really. Yes, people have found it, but it's not. It's basically, people, they'll do, oh, I want to buy a little alligator, and they flush it down the toilet when they're, damn, the alligator ate my cat. Shit, I got to get rid of this thing. Or, So, yes, they've seen it on Florida. I got to ask some of my friends from Florida if they've ever encountered that, but it's not as common as rats. So that's why I wanted to do that. So, all right, here's the other thing. This one, oh boy. All right, talking about beds, you already talked about this. So, you've heard urban legends about there is a body underneath the bed, right? Like some people will say, you go into a room, check under the bed because there might be a body, or you're a little, I don't know, maybe you're kind of scared of being in a new room. So let me ask you this before, true or false. Do you, when you go into a room, let's say a hotel or a motel, if they have where you can check underneath the bed, do you check underneath the bed, Cindy?
No.
You do not?
No.
Uh-oh, this is going to change you.
Oh my God, don't tell me it's true.
I gotta give it away a little bit. So
oh my God.
I kind of gave it away, but again, true or false, do you think someone's ever found a body underneath the bed?
Probably.
Probably. Okay, I kind of gave that one away. So, yes, bing, 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 that is true.
Oh my God. Oh, that's gross.
This is really bad. This is really, really bad. So and this is fairly like, again, everything's fairly recent. So,
okay.
Supposedly the urban legend started in 1991, which again is a gruesome tale that people would say there's somebody went in a hotel or motel room. There was a smell and they found this weird, body decomposed into the bed. That is true. In 2003, a discovery of a man's body in Capri Motel east of Kansas City was found by the cleaning staff in an advanced stage of decomposition.
What?
Yes. And that is not the only one. A woman was found, and another woman was found. So in beds now, what they do, if you go into most hotels now, you can't look under the bed. It's on top of like a plywood box.
Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
And obviously they do that. So someone, and this is, I believe in Atlantic City. So in Atlantic City, someone, and this is the worst, someone went into the hotel room and they were sleeping. There's a weird smell in here. Okay, well, whatever. And most people would be like, hey, bring the Lysol, right? You call manager. Hey, man, could you bring the Lysol or whatever? What the hell? Somebody left their pizza in the drawer, in the dresser drawers. I don't know what the hell they did. Or like, somebody has BO. So, you usually do that. Change the sheets out. So that's what they did. The guy called and said, change the sheets out, blah, blah, blah. He goes back to sleep the next day. Still seems that same smell. Okay. And he's like, damn, I don't know what the hell's going on. So he said, screw this. I'm checking out like every normal person would. Another person goes into the room and checks in. Same thing. Wow, man, that's rancid. What did a raccoon get in here and died? A rat died in the toilet? What the hell's going on? Well, eventually somebody said, I think it's coming from the bed. And somebody, no, it can't come from the bed. They lifted up the mattress, pad, and box spring. And guess what? There was a woman in advanced decomposition in that, underneath that bed. So numerous people slept in that room with a dead body right underneath them for, according to the hotel, for weeks. Either people never said anything because, you go and you're like, screw it. It's whatever. I'm only here for a night. I don't care. I'm tired. Yes. But not only in Atlantic City in 1999, cases in Colorado, Florida, and like I said, Virginia.
Wow.
Yes, this is common, where people have been found dead underneath the bed. And you say to yourself, what's going on? Did they kill themselves? Or somebody? Pretty much every one of them is foul play. Someone killed them and stuffed them underneath the bed, or stuffed them, underneath the box spring or whatever in that box. Right. So what do you think about that?
So, it's actually the way that the type of person I am. If I go walking into a room, I usually sense that something's not off, especially smell. I'll be like, what is that smell? I'd be like, something's not right in this room. I'd be looking at anything and everything. Like I'd be pulling sheets off. I probably would be like, nope, something's not right. The decomposing smell is a very unique, disgusting. So my thing is this: if a person leaves a hotel room, the maids go in, they clean, right? Why are they not locking down this room and finding out what the smell is? Because that's not a good smell to be smelling while you're trying to sleep.
Absolutely.
And not only that, but to be honest with you, it breaks my heart. It breaks my heart for that person who was put under that mattress and box spring. Their poor body is put there, left there to decompose. And that person was obviously murdered, and that I would want to investigate and how to solve the crime. Like, who did this? But I'm the type, so when I go into a hotel room, now you're going to make me all curious now when I go into a hotel room. If I smell anything funky, I'm going to be like, what the hell is that? And I got to, but no, normally when I go into a hotel, I'm looking for cameras. I check the mirrors. I check for any interesting holes in the walls. That's what I do, because there's some creepy, freaking nasty people out there and creepy hotels.
By the way, there's a documentary on Netflix, if you have Netflix, about this guy for years owned this motel, and he put cameras everywhere in the motel. This is a true story. I'm going to do an urban legend because it's really easy to find if you want to. I can't remember the title. God dang it. But anyway, he would go up in the rafters, watch these people do everything from have sex,
I've heard,
to arguments, and he wrote journal. And when they finally caught the guy, they found all these journals of all this personal information, everything from sex to violence to you name it, personal stuff, right? Wow. And he never went on the internet and was like, "Ooh, hey, check out this sexy couple," you know. Never did. He just kept it for himself. He had videotapes everywhere, and it was the inspiration for a horror movie, which is okay. The title sucks. The movie was okay. Called Vacancy, about these couples. Yes. Okay. And then they find a tape, and what happens? Very simple plot. My spooky friends want to watch it. Very simple. It's an old rundown motel in the middle of nowhere, kind of like the Bates Motel. People go in, they see a videotape or find this videotape, they stick it in the VCR, and they see terrible things happening to the people in the room that they're staying in the same room. Yeah. So. Yeah.
I did see that movie.
And it's
creepy.
It's creepy as hell, And I remember seeing that movie, and soon I remember it would be like me and my wife, even if we're tired, and they go in there, and there's like, I don't know if you remember the opening scene, but they go into the lobby, and there's this creepy guy, and you just hear like a woman screaming like she's terrified. Yeah. And the guy stops the tape, and he's like, "Yeah, hey," and I'd be like, "Yeah, I'm out."
Yeah, right.
We're sleeping in the car, and my wife would be like, "Yep, we're sleeping in the car. We don't give a shit. We'll pay the ticket or fine if cop catches us. We're sleeping in the car. See ya." There's no way I'm sleeping in that damn hotel or motel. I'm out. So let's do one that has been. This is, everybody knows this one, but everybody screws it up. Everybody screws it up, and it's a different story. So you've heard about Halloween candy, right?
Yes.
That it's laced with something, right? Okay. Yeah. Now, tell me, is that true? True or false?
Yes, it is true. It has happened.
It has happened, but here's the kicker. So I'm gonna give you half credit on that one. Here's the kicker. Okay. It's never truly happened to like your kid. You know what I mean? But this is what happened. James Joseph Smith, he was charged for putting needles in his own kids' Snickers bar. His own kids. Yes, everything else about it is false. People have found, but like a razor blade in an apple or whatever like that. But people have found out later. They're like, "Oh, it's having fun with you. I didn't do that." You know what I mean? They tell like their brother or sister, like a little brother will put a razor blade. "Oh, look at that." It's kind of an inside joke, family joke, right? It doesn't go outside the family. But other than that, no, it's never, ever, ever happened. Except, like I said, James Joseph Smith, who was charged for second, third degree, I don't know, murder or whatever. No, he didn't. The kid didn't die. The kid didn't die, if I remember the story right. But he put needles in his kid's Snickers. And you ask yourself, Cindy, why would his own father do that to his kids? Why? Because he wanted to teach them a lesson. That was it.
Teach them a lesson on what?
Candy. For not checking
Talking
their
back?
candy.
Don't talk back because you're going to get a needle in your mouth.
His explanation to the judge was, I want to teach my kids a lesson, something like not checking his candy. But when they did further evaluation, they found out this scumbag took out a life insurance policy on his kid. And there you go. So, what a
That's
scumbag.
disgusting.
Guy's in jail.
Oh,
that is the only only one on record that I looked at.
Really?
Yes. Please, again, hey, if you want to argue me, dairylandfrights@gmail.com, because of Cindy, you guys want to argue, that's fine. But I'm telling you, if you find a police report that says, oh, someone stuck a needle in my Snickers bar, and everything, most of the time, if not all the time, it's somebody, your neighbor, screwing with you. You know what I mean? Like, just having a little fun and be like, oh, don't eat it. I was having a little fun, don't. Yeah, hey, man, I was having fun. You're like, hey, man, that's a little joke a little too far, but it happens, right? But no, that is not true. Never happened. No one's been poisoned. No one's died from. Now, you've gotten stomach aches, and maybe you're in the bathroom a little longer. But that's not poison. That's you eating way too much candy. So that one is, I'm going to say false on that one. Okay. So here's one that I thought this is my funniest one. I thought this is great. Okay. And it's really hard to tell, Cindy, this is true or false. Okay. This one is called The Leaping Lawyer. So
the what? The leaping what?
This is in Toronto. This is an urban legend in Toronto. Okay.
Okay.
So Toronto residents have, and being that we're not in Toronto, it's kind of, but I've heard this before, and I couldn't tell you. I'm not going to tell you whether it's true or not. So Toronto residents have heard the tale of a lawyer who had a peculiar fondness, and I'm not kidding, for running full bore into his office windows to demonstrate how strong they were. Okay. So he was on a high-rise office building. Okay. So let me paint the scene for you, Cindy. He's on a high-rise office building, probably about 20 floors up, maybe a little higher than that. And what he would do, just to screw with people, he would run full speed to a window, jump into the window, and then he would bounce back, right? And people would be like, what the fuck are you doing? Are you fucking stupid? And he's like, he thought that was really funny. So the urban legend goes that one day his luck ran out and he ran into the window and smashed. There he went out the window and died. So true or false that a lawyer actually did?
I'm just going to say, yeah. I think someone is that stupid.
Yes. Damn it. I thought I might have you on this one because it's so stupid. I thought you were going to be like, John, no one's that stupid. Yes, he is. And his name is Gary Hoy. He was a senior partner in an area law firm in Toronto where he was on the 25th floor, Cindy. And on July 9th, 1993, Hoy made his signature, it says tackle, but whatever, against the window to impress some visiting law students. The pane broke, sending him plummeting to his death. And here's the thing. This is the punchline, Cindy. This I nearly peed myself when I so one of the partners in the law firm said in the eulogy, which it's sad, but it's still kind of funny. Come on. His managing partner, Peter Lawrence, called Hoy one of the best and brightest at the firm.
Okay. Well, if he was so bright and one of the best at the firm, then why was he so stupid to do something like that? Oh my gosh.
Yes, this is a true story. It's absolutely hilarious because people have done this on if you watch some of these really dramatic urban legend shows, they're like on, I don't know, I'm trying to think what they're on, like Tubi or Pluto, you check, and those are terrifying urban legends. This will actually be, they did a dramatization of it, and it's super hilarious because they show this guy and he's like, hey everyone, watch this. And he'll just go running to the window and just like hit it and then bounce off. And then people are like, hey man, everyone's like, oh, and then they always have the voice, Gary's luck was going to run out. And then he goes right to the window and it's just, I was laughing my ass off. Like, this is a tragedy, but come on, man. Like, didn't somebody, Cindy, wouldn't you, if you were there, wouldn't you have said, hey, Gary, buddy, not funny?
Yeah, no, I would have. I'd be like, dude, what are you doing? Like,
Right.
do you not understand that your luck is going to run out? Like, why are you doing that? You're looking like an idiot right now.
Yeah. And supposedly people told him, and he just was like, come on. Like one of those guys who thinks like having a live lion in their bedroom with them is not going to eat them. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, look at my lion. And you're like, it's a lion. It's going to eat you one of these days. Nah, me and Charlie, we're cool. Me and Charlie, we have that lion's going to rip you apart one of these days. Like, come on, man. What are you thinking? So good guess. I love that. So before we get to one of your stories, this is unbelievable. I'm gonna see if I can catch you on this one. Okay.
Okay.
So are you familiar with the if you watch horror movies, you should be. This is actually a good movie. They remade it, but I'm like, Candyman, the 1992 movie. Okay. So you're familiar with that. If you're not familiar with it, it's based on a short story by Clive Barker. It's a very good horror movie. It's about this black artist. He was murdered in the 1890s for having a relationship with a white woman, and he comes back and there's whatever. Anyway, he comes out of this medicine cabinet, okay? All right, so here we go. In 1987, the Chicago Reader, I've never heard of that one, but okay, published a story about Ruth McCoy, a woman living in a Chicago housing project, who made a call insisting that she was being attacked in her apartment. Okay. So here's the thing. This is where see if you can figure this out. The urban legend was Ruth supposedly was saying people were coming through her medicine cabinet, like Candyman. And this time, just as before Candyman, because Candyman came out in 1992, but people knew about the story. Clive Barker had, if you're a horror dude, you kind of knew about this. She said, the cops, people were coming through her medicine cabinet and attacking her and stealing her money. She was an older woman. She was in her 80s. So, okay. And she was telling people that people were coming, through her medicine cabinet, attacking her, beating her, stealing her money. And that's what she said. So, what do you think? Is this true? People believe this or false?
This one I'm actually going to say false.
It is
really? True. No freaking way.
Yes. So this is what happened.
Dude, are you saying this is real?
This is totally real.
Oh my gosh.
In fact, if you want to do an episode on it, I highly recommend it. So this is what they found. Okay. So a lot of people thought she's senile, right? And she was a very, she's an older woman living in the projects. You get it, right?
Right.
Okay. It's unfortunate, but all right. She eventually died of a gunshot wounds, and investigators determined that her assailants had gained access to her unit by breaking through the connecting wall in the adjoining apartment and climbing through her medicine cabinet. Wow. The complex was built that way intentionally so that the plumbers investigating leaks could simply remove the cabinet to check the pipes. It became a frequent mode of entry for burglars, and in McCoy's case, her killer. So what would happen was, imagine how scary this is. You're just sitting you're just trying to make it, right? You're living the projects. You're just, hey, man, I'm just trying to get by. I'm trying to do this. All of a sudden, dudes come through your medicine cabinet and kill you, could beat you, steal your money, do some other things to assault your family. And this was so common, the cops were like, well, what are we supposed to do? We can't, we can't do anything, right? We literally can't do anything because, again, the plumbers have to look at the pipes. That's how cheap they made these buildings, which is sad, right? So like in your house, if a plumber really wants to look at your pipes, they have to go in there and, maybe they have to rip out a wall, like, God damn it, that's going to cost me a shitload of money. But here, they open the medicine cabinet, they take out the medicine cabinet, which you can do, by the way, if you ever want to replace your medicine cabinet, but you're just going to have, hopefully, God willing, you're just going to have a blank wall or some drywall behind it. This, they would literally cut through there, come through there. In fact, there is podcasts, you can listen to it. I have not done it yet because it wasn't really paranormal. It's true crime, which I'm not totally into true crime. But yeah, there you go. That's true.
Very interesting because, actually there's, hotels that also have where you take out the, the mirror and there's an actual separation from one room to the other. It's a walkway. They even have secret doors. This is where, unfortunately, trafficking occurs because they have a secret door that men can pop open. And if they hear kids in there, they can kidnap kids, women, whatever, from the hotel room. It's actually very scary that, there is places that are still, being lived in that are like that. Not so much the trafficking, but being able for someone, a plumber or some electrician, whatever, or someone that finds out about that little secret area to pop out a window to get into someone's apartment or a hotel room. It's just crazy to me.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy to me. So there you go. Those are the big ones. I haven't got to some other ones. Maybe we'll have to play this again sometime. There's a whole mess of them that are true or false. All these were true, by the way. And I'll put the links in there so people can look at them, which is scary. Some of them are even more scarier that you would not believe that are true. But these are the top ones that people pretty much are like, no, I don't know, kind of thing. So, Cindy, how about you?
Yes.
Do you have anything in California or that is true or false with urban legends?
Yeah, so here's a little bit of a story, one, and you tell me if you think it's true or not.
Okay.
So, there's all over the place. You've got different areas, and there's urban legends, right? So there is a place that's nearby. It's known as a white woman, is mostly common seen floating along trails. The Native Americans that once inhabited the area also said to roam these grounds as well, and seeing them hanging in the trees, and hearing mysterious voices and all that kind of stuff. And there was an asylum that used to be near this location, and it burned down. So, and it had people that were still in the asylum that, perished when it was burnt down. They say that this particular area is very haunted and so forth. And do you think that, are you familiar with the California legends at all?
A little bit. Yeah.
So I don't know if you've heard this one. So is it true or false that a place called Elfin Forest Recreational Reserve is haunted or not haunted and has a white floating woman? Or is it just an urban legend that people, I want to scare people?
I think it's an urban legend because forests are always known for that. I think it's false.
You think it's what?
I think it's false.
False?
Yeah.
It's actually true.
What?
Yeah, it's called Elfin Forest Recreational Reserve. It's actually not that far from where I live. And actually, to be honest with you, Marcus, my husband, because remember he's been on the Ferris show.
Yes.
So we're actually going to have our wedding photos done there because it is so haunted. Yeah, no, they've actually have people have had experiences there that they've gotten so strict with people going in there now. And everything for us to have our wedding photos done, we have to pay a permit, a $75 permit. And one of the rangers has to go along with us to make sure that we don't do anything seance-y or bring a Ouija board or anything like that, because they have had do that kind of stuff and it's caused problems.
Like what kind of problems? Like,
well, people
worse. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
I gotcha.
So, and then of course I'm sure you've heard this one. So the Hollywood sign.
Yeah.
So the story yeah, the story goes, the famous actress, or, well, semi-famous, she was trying to, make something of herself. Do you think that one is true? That she
Yes,
jumped off the
absolutely.
Hollywood?
I've heard this one. I believe it's true.
I do too. I do too.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. I just thought that one was interesting. I don't know. There's
It's
just
yeah.
go
Go
ahead.
on. No, I was just gonna say it's interesting because I did when I was in LA on business. I didn't get to go on their ghost tour, which damn it, I got busy, stupid business. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean the Hollywood sign back in the day. Suppose even the Hollywood Hills. Maybe you've heard of this, but I've even heard the Hollywood Hills where you can walk the trail. There's like
Mm-hmm.
trails near there. I guess whatever. That it's haunted as hell because
Yeah.
serial killers have dumped bodies there. People have, like gangsters used to dump bodies there. People committed suicide, terrible acts against women and men. That it's like, ugh. I guess people say that you got to walk during the day. They will not let you walk the trails at night because it's
Mm-hmm.
like that, so haunted, and that people have seen spirits. And with the woman drop off the Hollywood sign, yes, it's kind of believable, not believable, because the
Yeah.
actress that slips my mind. I think it happened in the 30s, maybe 20s,
Yeah.
30s. I don't know. Whenever the speaking they took off, yeah, that she got on top of the sign because her career wasn't going so well, and she was
Right.
supposedly molested or whatever by all these producers, and she just and people see her like you go near the Hollywood sign and
Yes.
you'll see this young, attractive woman in this like, 30s garb or whatever, and they'll be like,
Right.
"Oh, let me help you." They'll think like she's an extra for like a movie they're filming there, and they're like, "Let
Yeah.
me help you," and then she just disappears. And
Yeah.
so,
It's and yeah, that story, it is sad that someone would, I mean, anybody that commits suicide, it's terrible.
yeah,
That they took
yeah.
that
Oh,
direction, but obviously they were
I'm looking up
feeling
her name right now, Cindy. Her
the
name was
same.
Peg Entwistle.
Yes.
Yeah, it says
That's it.
1900s actress. She got on the H and yeah, jumped off. Yeah, that's bad. That's really bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
What a way to
California
go.
to me always has. I've been to California numerous times because for business, and my father-in-law used to live right outside of my God, I'm not saying Encino. He lived in Southern California. I have to ask him again. But anyway, I loved it there. I'd go. And then he'd always tell me, because he knew I loved the paranormal, he's like, "Hey, John, we can go on a ghost tour or whatever." We never got around to it. But he was like telling me, "Oh, there's all these places in the hills that are haunted and everything." I'm like, "Wow, okay." Yeah, because there's so much tragedy, right? And there's
Mm-hmm.
so much, I mean, the gold rush, the,
Mm-hmm.
actors and actresses, also the mob was very present there. It's like, damn,
Yeah.
a lot of things going on.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. No, I love the urban legends, and
I know, they're so great. So
there's
great.
so many.
There's,
So many.
by the way, if you ever want to, if you want to have some fun, to you, Cindy, and my spooky friends out there is different sites out there. I will put in the links on the episode
Okay.
notes too. Each state has their own top urban legend. And
Really?
it's crazy.
Okay.
Like all the 50 states have
Uh-huh.
that everybody knows in that state. Like if you've lived in that state, you should know it, or you like, I've heard about it, right? And everything.
Right.
And that to me, it's not crazy
Yeah.
that people
I love it though.
yeah. And then it's just some of these are from the 1900s. Like,
Yes.
I've just kept on going and going
Yeah.
and going. And there's some, like I said, I even got to ones you can check out. There's a guy named Charlie No Face, which is a very sad thing in Pennsylvania, where
Oh.
this guy, this was a true story, basically, just really quickly.
Uh-huh.
He had a surgery back in the 1930s. Things didn't go too well, and his face was extremely disfigured. And he would, walk around the neighborhood and people would freak out. It's not like it today where people would be like, "Oh, that poor man." People were like, "Oh my God." And also there was, you've always heard this, the the old story of don't go into the woods, especially if you're a kid. There's like somebody in there is going to kidnap you. Well, in New Jersey, there was a guy. It's called Cropsey. He was actually in Staten Island, New York. This is a true guy. He did actually live in the woods and would kidnap kids.
Yes.
And that is also a documentary out there, really, really well done about this guy. So, like, that's scary. That like this is actually happened. When people go, don't go into the woods. There's Cropsey in there. He's going to get you.
Yeah. Well, you've heard of the tall man, right?
Oh, right. The tall
man in the forest. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's that one.
Absolutely crazy that some of these are true. But like you said, I love Slender Man, which is
Slender Man. Yeah, that one's a good one.
That was based on a real case. I did a episode on that. It happened here in Wisconsin, where 3 girls got into the woods, and one of the girls stabbed the other girl 17 times. Luckily, the other little girl lived, which is amazing. Yeah. And if you look at it right now, by the way, just really quickly, they're all grown up now. The little girl who stabbed the other little girl, thinking, she'd go to Slender Man's palace. She's doing okay now. She's out of prison. She's getting her life together. The other girl who did get stabbed, I love her because she's forgiven the 2 girls. She's a nurse. She's going to become a nurse. She wants to help people with mental problems, and she's gotten on with her life. And I love that. You know what I mean? To get on with your life after something that traumatic.
Right.
And say, I'm going to become a nurse and I'm going to help people. And I'm totally cool with what you guys did. I forgive you. I'm glad you're turning it around. So, some of this is just absolutely crazy. So, Cindy, do you have anything for my spooky friends? Anything coming up? Anything that you're kind of thinking on doing? Or
So episode 3 will be dropping soon. I gotta finish that up. But Stacy from early on Wednesday joined me on this recording. Have you heard of Elizabeth Bathory?
Yes, I have. I love that.
Yeah,
story,
we did it on her.
Tell my spooky friends about it.
So Elizabeth Bathory, she was between the 1600s and 1700s. She is a Hungarian countess. She was a noblewoman. And her husband actually was a soldier, a warrior back then. And he's the one who actually taught her how to torture. And Elizabeth Bathory she is the Guinness World she's a Guinness World serial killer out there. She killed over 600 plus women. And Bram Stoker's Dracula. Yeah. They kind of took her story and kind of, the legend says that they took her story and that's how they came up with Bram Stoker's Dracula, is because this woman loved blood, biting and torturing young women that were younger than her. And she would drink their blood and bathe in their blood because she felt that it kept her looking and feeling young.
I love that.
Over 600.
Oh my God. I love that because maybe you guys already talked about it, but this is almost an urban legend too, right? Supposedly one day she was a terrible woman, obviously. She's not the greatest woman in the planet you want to hang out with. She slapped a servant and basically cut her. And when the blood got on her, she rubbed it on her face or something, and she noticed, I look younger, or that's her demented mind. And like you said, check this out, people. You got to check out when this comes out, which they talk about, not to give too much away. She would bathe in bathtubs of blood.
Yes.
Bathtubs full of blood. That's crazy.
It is. It really is crazy. But, John, if you really stop and think about it, for a woman back in that time era, okay, if you stop and think, women were not empowered too often, right? Yep. You might have been a noble person, of riches or whatever, or royalty. But for a woman to be in power, it was rare. There wasn't too many, and Queen Elizabeth, she is my queen of all hearts. I love Queen Elizabeth. That woman was a badass. But
she was.
Elizabeth Bathory, I find her very in my morbid, demented way, I find her actually very powerful. For her to manipulate and her charisma and the way that she would get these women in to her area, because she would educate them. She would want to teach them the ways of how to take care of yourself and to get, because to be married off, right? Because that's what women were supposed to do. You marry them off, you get pregnant, and you have babies.
Yeah.
So for her she was obviously extremely intelligent. She reeled them in, manipulated them, molded them, and then she killed them.
Yeah.
And it's just, wow, that's power. It's not a good power, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
She was good at what she freaking did. She over 600 women.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's just she blows me away.
Yeah. Right. I mean, it's just right. It's crazy, and she is, because she's a woman, she is not well known. So please go check out when Cindy puts out the episode, please check it out. You will be blown away by more facts because we just scratched the surface.
Oh yeah, there's definitely more facts.
Oh my God. I remember reading about her and I was like, damn, that girl's like, hey,
Yeah.
And again, like, it's just when you find out everything behind, like, what? I know what everyone's thinking. Didn't anybody stop her? Didn't anybody say, hey, lady, when you get to 100, you think somebody would have said, I think something's wrong here. You get to 300. Yeah, that bitch has got to be stopped. Someone's got to stop her. Right?
Yeah.
600, and then, okay. It's enough. Come on.
Yeah. I topped off. Okay.
Yeah. And you will please listen, like I said, to her, because when the way she got caught was kind of a strange way, which I don't want to give anything away.
Yeah.
Got caught very, I don't know, kind of different.
Yes.
So it's a great story. We love it. So Cindy, thank you so much. You were awesome. Thank you for playing my Urban Legends game. I will love to have you on again anytime you want to come on. Please do.
I would love to.
If you ever want a guest, if you're ever searching for something, please, I would gladly love to be on your show too. We can talk about anything. I love all the stuff you love. And like I said, we even want to talk about some mental, health stuff. Totally on board for that, talking about things, anything like that. So we'll end the show. We always end it this way. We say hi to our ghost, because you never know, you might have a ghost. So we say, hello, ghost. And,
hello, ghost.
And then we say, stay spooky. Thanks, Cindy.
Stay spooky. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.